Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will talk about how you can explain your cost optimization projects in DevOps SRE interviews. So this project is currently in progress in my company. Last Friday itself, I gave one presentation to all the developer teams, plus senior management was also there. So I will share some deep insights, what actually happens in this type of project, what's your role is and how you can go about it to actually save some cost for your company. And this is my second video. I have already done one video on cost optimization. I will share the link of that video in the description of this video. All right, so let's get started. So in my last video I spoke about that we are using this tool called Cloud Zero for cost optimization, where we have integrated all our AWS accounts to this Cloud Zero tool, and now we are able to track all the costs here using the right tags that we have applied to all the resources for all the services that we manage in AWS. Now, the role that has been given to the SRE team is that we have a dashboard in Cloud Zero. It's called monthly trend dashboard, which is going to show us the trends of the last few months. As you can see right now on the screen. So this is like one demo screenshot, you can say, from Cloud Zero, which is going to show you the cost team wise. As you can see, Team Nova, Team Orion, Team Apex, Team Pulse, and so on. So these are the multiple teams. These are also called service owners in Cloud Zero. So these are our service owners, and each service owner is going to have multiple services within it. And here, most of our applications are deployed to AWS EKS clusters. So these are actually Kubernetes workloads that we are talking about, this entire cost. So the task that has been given to the SRE team is we have to take a look at each team's cost breakup and see which service is consuming the most as compared to the last month, and where they have increased the cost, why they have increased the cost. We should have a valid justification from the team. If not, we need to reach out to them that this service is taking a lot. If you do not have a valid justification, so in that case please try to reduce the cost. So this is what the goal is. But yes, it's not a straightforward thing. In a dev and QA we can still be really strict with the approach, but in production, since we are like talking about a live application that is being used by the customers, so we have to be really careful while making any changes. So what we have like proposed is that we will start from dev. So we will see where we can save cost in the dev account, and we will see the team which is consuming the most cost in terms of the AWS bill that we are seeing in AWS. So this is what the overall approach is. Now I'll talk about how we are actually going about it. So what we have done is in my company, so I've already spoken about it in the past videos also, that we have full access to some AI tools. We have full access to Chat GPT and Copilot. So what our company has now given us is access to this autonomous agentic AI tool called Codex. I think a few of you would have already heard about it. So this tool is called a Codex. It's like an autonomous agentic AI tool that is given by OpenAI. So how to use this tool, I'll just like talk about that part first. So for example, and it is, I mean, you can start using it for free. So right now I'm on my personal laptop, so I'm using the free version of it, which is like good enough to explore uh, like a lot of features. And if you're interested, you can always upgrade, but I think this is like a good enough version to get started with this. So I'll just talk about it, the entire setup that we have, so that you are able to understand what's actually happening. And I've already spoken about this thing also, that I'm working for a product based company, so they have all the latest tools and technologies that we want to use to get the maximum efficiency from a resource. Okay, so let me go to this. So what we have done is, for example, you're using Chat GPT. Okay, as an example, suppose you're using Chat GPT and you are using its free version. Okay, so if you see here on the left hand side, if you click on Codex, it will take you to this page where you can download this Codex installer. Once you install it, then you will need to log in with your same chat gpt account that you are using right now. So once you do that, what like what it will do is, for example, when we use this chat gpt, we just get some output, right? We don't have any way by which we can actually make the tool to execute the steps that we want to do. Okay, so what we do, we just like copy and paste from here, and we just see like how we can use that output or answer that this tool has given us. We just like copy and paste, and then like we will do it on our own. But using this codex agentic ai tool, what you can do is you can actually make this tool execute those steps in real time. Okay, so for example, I'll just give you one very simple example. You are working on some aws based project where you want to run some aws CLI commands. Okay, so suppose you have already configured your AWS access from your laptop to your AWS account. So in that case, you do not have to like copy and paste the command from here and go to your terminal to execute the command. The command execution part can also take place from this screen only, this prompt screen only. So this is what an agent does. Okay, so it is like taking your instructions, it will ask for your approval, and once you approve, it's going to automatically execute those steps, execute those scripts, execute those commands for you in this screen, and then give you the output. So our team, our company has given us the access to this Codex tool as well. And also, what we have also done is we are using an MCP server. So MCP, I'll just give you some introduction. MCP means a model context protocol. So it is like an interface between the different LLM models that we use in AI and any external tool that you want to use. So it's like an interface that's going to connect the two tools together. On a high level, of course, you can explore, there are like so many things around it, but what I am doing in my current company, I'm just talking about that. So we have set up this MCP server as well, and we have integrated our MCP server with our cloud zero tool. So now what we can do here is, we do not have to go to the cloud zero tool to see the cost insights. So what we can do is, we can just like give it a prompt. For example, I just like gave the prompt that I want to see the cost of all the service owners in the last 6 months, and I want to see the trend. So now if you see, it is able to run that deep insight into the tool, into cloud zero tool. It's able to retrieve the information, and it's able to give it to me right here. So I do not have to go to the tool itself. So that's how easy it has become. But yes, this means that you should be able to get all the insight that you need to save cost for your company. So this is what we are doing right now, and I gave this presentation on Friday that I'm using this Codex tool. I have integrated an MCP server, and MCP server has access to my cloud zero tool as well, and it can run the insights from this prompt screen. So I gave the presentation on this also, and then I spoke about how I'm able to retrieve the cost. Okay, so now I'll talk about what we are doing as an SRE. So this was about the setup that we are using. Now I'll talk about what exactly I'm doing as an SRE. So what I'm doing is, or the task that has been given to me. So I need to dig deep into each team. For example, let's take the example of Team Nova. So this team in the month of May has spent 68,542 US dollars on AWS resources. Okay, so what I can do right now is, I can ask this MCP server right here in this Codex screen that please provide me a cost breakup of this team in the month of May. I want the entire cost breakup of this particular cost that I'm seeing in May. And then I want you to identify the resources on which this team has spent the most. Once we have that, then I can ask for the best recommendations depending on the current configuration of those resources. All I'm saying is that we know that this team has spent this much cost. Once we have the breakup of the entire cost, once we have the breakup of the resources that are consuming the most from this amount, then what I have also done is, I gave this tool access to AWS account, only read only. Okay, so you have to be really careful here, especially when you're using this tool in your company with your company's AWS account. So like, do not give it the access to make any changes, but I think the read-only access or list access, I think you can give. So yeah, that's what I've done. So I logged into my terminal and I told this tool that you have access to run AWS CLI commands on those resources and see the metrics of the tool in CloudWatch in the last month and identify if that particular resource is over provisioned or not, and then provide me the recommended actions that I can recommend to the team that they can take. And as I mentioned, I started with dev and QA account only. Okay, so I'm not going to go into prod. I'll just see whether this approach is working in dev and QA or not. So this is the first time we are trying to use this type of integration, this type of tools integration to do this type of work. So we have to just like test it out whether it is actually working or not. Okay, so I just gave an example. So in my case, I found that there are some RDS instances which are over provisioned in terms of IOPS. I'm seeing like close to I think 12,000 IOPS are there in the dev RDS instance. So I ran the test using this Codex MCP and Cloud Zero tool integration. Also, I used AWS CLI so that this tool can have access to my AWS account and it can see the metrics of those resources in the past 1 month, and then it's able to recommend whether we can actually downsize those resource configurations to save some cost. So this is what I'm doing right now. This is an in progress project, as I mentioned. I'll share more insights, more videos on this so that you can explain in your interview that this is what I do in my company as well. Okay, so I'm telling you the exact thing that is happening. Okay, so I think it's going to help you immensely again in your DevOps SR interviews, that what you actually do as part of your cost optimization task that is given to you in your company. So this is what you can explain, and as I mentioned, more you can explore on your own. If you just use any free chat GPT, you go here, you install it, and if you want to install MCP server also, you can just like give it a prompt that please set up a tiny MCP server with my Codex tool. So it's going to do that for you automatically, and that's how I'm able to set it up. Okay, so I'm able to set up this tiny MCP server to test, and it's pretty straightforward now. You just have to give it a prompt and it will ask for the permission to execute some commands. So just give it the access and it will execute all the commands in sequence, and it's going to set up an MCP server for you so that you can do some tests. You can use it to learn more about how to use MCP server with Codex to do all the things that you want to do. So that's how we are going about it. This is an in progress thing. So as I mentioned, I'll share more videos on this. All right, guys, I hope you like this video. If you have any questions around this, you can always reach out to me. And one more thing, I would like to mention that for all the members, I have a WhatsApp group where you can ask any question from me related to anything on SRE, on DevOps, on my content, everything. So if you become a member, then you get access to that WhatsApp group also, where you can join and you can ask any number of questions with me. And before I go, I would like to talk about my YouTube membership program, where I have a lot of premium videos available. As you can see right now, I'm talking about a production Docker file. So this is a sample Docker file from a production environment, which I'm covering here, and I'm explaining each and every instruction that is there in this Docker file. Apart from that, I also have videos on some of the most important site reliability engineering terms that are often asked in the interview. How do you explain that? I have video on SRE golden signals, which is very critical when you're actually working and you're configuring some dashboards for a particular application. So you would need SRE golden signals. And then I have a hands-on project on SLI, SLO, SLA. So I start with the theory, like how do you explain these terms, and how do you explain an end-to-end project that you have done on SLI, SLO, SLA. So that I've covered here. Here you can see I'm using a Java Spring Boot application, which is being monitored using Prometheus and Grafana tools, and the application is deployed into AWS EKS clusters. Apart from that, I also have video on distributed tracing with Grafana Tempo, and I also have one video on how do you use open telemetry for metrics collection for a Java Spring Boot application in Prometheus and Grafana. So it's again, all these videos are hands-on, which means that I'm going to share the document, the end-to-end document that I'm following here, and how do you configure all these things in real. So all that I'm trying to cover here. Apart from that, I also have video on logs aggregation using Grafana Loki tool for Java Spring Boot application. So how do you aggregate logs from multiple applications into Grafana Loki? So that I am covering here. Then in production, we don't use the standard Prometheus to collect our data. We use an enterprise solution which is called Mimir. So the difference between Prometheus and Mimir I've covered in this video. I also have a shell scripting crash course with production scenarios where I'm going to talk about the type of questions that are asked in the interview. Apart from that, all the fundamentals of shell scripting that you should learn for the interview. Then I have other videos as well. As I mentioned, I have multiple videos on Prometheus and Grafana based Java Spring Boot application monitoring in production, how it is done. So these are the videos. Apart from that, I also have Terraform, I have Kubernetes, and I have AWS, Linux, and you can see some of the videos in my YouTube membership program are actually recordings from my real live batches that I've run for SI trainings. A lot of people have got the job as well. So I have these recordings as it is, and in each of these videos I'm talking about how it's going to look like when you're actually working in real as an SRE. So I'm talking about all that. Yeah, so these are the things that I have on my channel, so you can take a look at it. If you find it useful, you can go for the membership as well. It's going to immensely help you in your interviews. All right, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. Please share this with others. Please do subscribe to my channel and keep watching my channel. All right, guys, that's all for this one, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.